And then, oh, there they went. Hey, it's Sue in the restricted section. Today I'm doing my February book haul. I bought a lot too many books in February, so let's get into it. I did make a couple of book outlet purchases because they had more of those Puffin classics that I love, so I just went ahead and got them. First I have The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain, and it's just lovely. This one is Anne of Green Gables. Really cute, of course. Hope you can see it well. The sun is so bright that I can't tell. I have A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. The green in paper. And I was a little disappointed in this one because it's not in very good condition, and they did not sell it to me as a scratch and dent copy, but it's alright. I mean, I'm not super picky, but since I did buy it for the way it looks, I was a little upset. But this one's Black Beauty by Anne Sewell. Is that how you say that? I don't know. So, there you go. I think that's all of them that I bought this month. I have another one coming because they had Peter Pan on there the other day, so that one's coming. And then, of course, I bought a few other things from Book Outlet while I was at it. I got The Never-Ending Story by Michael Endy. I got this because the ladies over at the Drunken Library, Sam and Amber, really like this book. I've also heard other people say they hate it, so we'll see how it goes. I've heard the main character is not likable, which is fine. But I actually don't know what this is about because I've never seen this movie, so I know it involves a dragon. That's all I know. Next I got The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is a sci-fi novel. So this is about two planets that have become like isolated from each other, and a physicist is trying to bring them back together somehow. I've heard great things about this. I'm hoping that this will be an Ursula K. Le Guin novel that I love because I started out with A Wizard of Earthsea and that was pretty mediocre. But I've heard much better things about her sci-fi, so I'm excited to get to that one. And I do plan to read this in March because I actually just pulled it out of my TBR jar, which if you watched my wrap-up / TBR, you'll have seen that. But yeah, so I should be reading this one soon. And then I also went ahead and got The Word for World is Forest by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is set on a peaceful world that is invaded by violent, bloodthirsty people, or aliens, I assume. They're conquered by them, and then these peaceful people kind of end up turning violent themselves to retaliate. And again, I've heard great things. Excited to read it. Another one I got from Book Outlet was Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace, which is massive. Who knows when I'll get to reading this, but I liked this edition. I've never seen this edition before. It's like the 20th anniversary edition, and I gotta be honest, I don't know what the fuck this is about. About a screwed up family, it says. So I'm looking through and I don't see any footnotes. So that's good, because that's what drove me nuts in Consider the Lobster, was all the fucking footnotes. So I really liked his writing though, so hopefully I'll like this. Another one I got, which was kind of a cover buy, I'll be honest, was Goat, a memoir. And this is by Brad Land. And I mean, is that not a super metal looking cover? This has to do with his time in a fraternity and like the hazing and how horrible that gets, I think. And I've heard good things about it. The next one I got was The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. I've never read any David Mitchell, so I want to check it out. And this is about a teenage girl who runs away from home, but she hears voices. I don't think she's just schizophrenic. I think it's like a, magical, mystical thing there. So, sounds interesting. Next, you guys might have already seen this in what video was it? The Netflix book tag, I think. But I got The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. This is The Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing by Marie Kondo. And it's translated by Kathy Hirano. And yeah, that's just exactly what it sounds like, about how to declutter and organize your stuff, which I need help with because I can't organize shit. But this book came upside down. If you open the inside, that's upside down. So yeah, and backwards, the beginning's at the end, so I'm gonna have to read it like this. So I'm definitely gonna do that in public and weird people out, make them think I'm an idiot. And then the last one, I think this was the last one that I got from Book Outlet, was Planet Fall by Emma Newman. And I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this. It's a sci-fi novel and I've heard good things about it. This almost sounds like it's kind of like a cult or something. It's about I think a woman named Renata who follows this person who has a vision of this sort of promised land on this other planet, and they build this colony, but it turns out being like kind of a lie. And then some new guy shows up and shakes things up, is what it sounds like. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, and then I have some books that I picked up at Hooked on Books. You saw in Megan and I's vlog when we were there, I picked up a couple of books. And the first one was The Shining by Stephen King. This was actually kind of expensive. I think I paid like $6, which I feel like is a lot for a used book, but I really liked this edition. Yeah, this looks really, really vintage. But, and look at his picture in here. Oh my gosh, look at his picture. Nice. Yeah, so I thought $6 was worth it for this like kind of cool 70s-tastic edition here. Yeah, I think everyone knows what The Shining's about, so I'm not gonna explain it. And then the other book that I got is Wool by Hugh Howey. I'd actually seen Becky from Becky Bookworm talk about this book on her channel, and I'd seen it around before, but I hadn't really paid much attention to it. Then I heard her talking about it, and I was like, that actually sounds really cool. It's something where people can't go outside because the air is deadly, it can kill them. So I don't remember much outside of that, and it doesn't really say much else, but it sounded really awesome when she was talking about it, so I thought I'd check it out. I also got some books when we were at the STD flea market, which was also in our vlog. So the first one I got was Bleak House by Charles, I almost said Darwin, Charles Dickens. And I gotta be honest, I don't know what this is about at all, and there's no description on the book, but it's a classic Dickens. The only Dickens I've ever read is A Christmas Carol, which I feel like doesn't even count because, you know, everyone has either read that or at least knows the story well enough that you don't even really need to read it. So I want to read some Dickens sometime soon. I have a couple others on my shelves, but... And then I found a copy of The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, which you've probably heard Megan talk about because she read this last year and loved it. And so when I saw a used copy, I went ahead and snatched it up. And this is set in Barcelona in 1945, I think. Yeah. And like this guy finds a book called The Shadow of the Wind, and then he sets out to find the author's other works. Finds out that somebody's been destroying all this author's works, and so he keeps investigating further and unlocks a dark secret, I guess. So I'm pretty pumped to get to that one too, because I know Megan loved it a lot, so I'm sure I will as well. And then the other book I got from there is Cause Celeb by Helen Fielding. I just thought I'd try it out because I love Bridget Jones's Diary, so I thought, hey, let me check out another book by her. So this is about a publicist who sort of grows tired with her life and decides to go run a refugee camp in Africa. And then famine strikes and she needs to get funds and, you know, food from the government, but it's like it's going to take too much time and there's too much runaround, so she decides to put on this big star-studded benefit to, you know, get what she needs more quickly. And then this I actually got in January, but it was my January Bookly Box book, and I didn't do an unboxing of it, so I thought I might as well show it, and it's called Free Bird, and this is by John Raymond. And this is about a veteran. He comes back from, he was a Navy SEAL, and he comes back from, I believe, Afghanistan. Is it Afghanistan? I think so, but he has like PTSD and isn't dealing, you know, well with being back in normal life, and he commits some sort of terrible act of violence, and so it follows him and his family and how that really changes their lives. So it sounds like it actually could be pretty good. And next I have this book that Megan actually got me. She saw it at I think also at Hooked on Books, and it made her think of me for obvious reasons. But it's called SueCee, I guess is how you say it, but it's almost my name. It's just got an extra letter. We'll just pretend that's not there and call it Susan. And it's by Phyllis Carol Agins, something. And Megan wrote me a note in it as well, because we like when we find little notes in used books, so sometimes we write notes in them so that, you know, sometime years later, if someone else ends up with this book, they can see our little note. But it says, Sue, I found this book about that time you lived in the woods with dwarves. They spelled your name wrong, though. This is basically Busted Snow White, Megan. And yeah, it's basically a Snow White retelling. The back makes it sound as though she falls in love with the dwarves, with the 7 dwarves. So that could be interesting. Also could be weird. I don't know. It might get weird up in here. We'll see. And then I have some books that I got from Dollar Tree, which is a great place to find, you know, I love going there because most of the time the books there are kind of like meh, but sometimes you'll find like a gem for $1. The one book I found there is Tank Girl, Armadillo, and A Bushel of Other Stories by Alan C. Martin. And I actually haven't read anything about Tank Girl ever before, and I've never seen the movie Tank Girl or anything, so I don't really know anything about it, but it always seemed like something I would enjoy, so I thought, hey, it's $1, I'll get it. So there you go, Dollar Tree. And then this one is called China Dolls, and it's by Lisa C. And I also got some of these kind of blind because I didn't have my phone with me to like look up the reviews and stuff on them, but so one of them in particular has pretty bad reviews, so I don't know how that one's gonna go. This one had decent reviews though. So this book is set kind of before and during World War II, I think, and starts in San Francisco, and it's about these 3 women who meet in a nightclub and become friends, and then when the Japanese attack Pearl Harbor, it really affects their lives negatively. I know at least one of the characters is a Chinese American woman. Perhaps they're all Chinese Americans, I'm not sure, but I don't know. I thought it sounded like it might be pretty interesting. And then this is the one I got that has pretty bad reviews on Goodreads, but it's See Now Then by Jamaica Kincaid. And I kind of just got it because I've heard of Jamaica Kincaid, but I'd never read anything by her. So I thought I'd check it out, and I think this is kind of the story of her marriage, if I'm not mistaken. And it's about a mother and father and 2 children. And I think it's just kind of about their lives, so maybe that's why it has bad reviews. Maybe it's boring. I don't know. We'll see. It's short, so maybe it won't be too painful. And then these 2 books I actually found at Dollar General. And this one was only $1, and it's The 10th of December by George Saunders. And yeah, I've heard quite a few people talk about this one on BookTube, and it's a collection of short stories. And again, I don't think I've ever read any Saunders, so we'll check it out. And then this one was $2, but I thought, what the hell, I'll splurge. And it's Frog Music by Emma Donoghue. And I've actually heard this is not a great one from her, but I've only ever read Slammerkin by her, and I really liked that one, so I thought, hey, I'll check out another one. And this is another historical fiction. I've heard, you know, Room is her most popular book, but I've heard that most of her books are historical fiction, and that's what Slammerkin was. So, and this is set in the 1870s in San Francisco, and it's about this woman who, she's a burlesque dancer, and her friend is shot dead, and so she goes on this quest to find her friend's murderer. That, I think, was all the books that I bought in February. So, if you've read any of these, let me know what you thought of them, and that's it for me. Thanks for watching. There'll be links below where you can find myself and Meg and other places on the internet, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!